What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hunter Call the Wild, Te Awaroa Part 4. So in the previous episodes, we had to go look at trees, we had to look at a rock, we had to get, we had to replace batteries on trail cams, we had to go through a cave, we had to set up some new poison things, and we found our resident idiot, Baden. On this map, who apparently gave himself a poisoning sickness from eating contaminated deer meat. And in this episode, we're going to head up to Stone Valley Castle, or is it Stone Castle Valley? I think it's Stone Valley Castle, where we are going to kind of allude to the crux or the climax of this whole story mission. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Wish we didn't have to use 1080, but desperate times and all that. Least we can do is make sure it's as painless as possible. This is nature's work. 40 million years in the making. All of this used to be underwater, and now we're standing here today. Did I tell you I like rocks? I like rocks. Another mess. Our bigwigs couldn't resist this backdrop, and I can't say I blame them. Take a look around and see if you can clean it up yourself. When you can't fake it with props, fake it with technology. Gonna be tough to move, even if they're not the real thing. How many of these fellas did they take with them? They've really spread themselves out. I don't think you'll be able to do much here. I'll get a crew to swing by later. I'm curious to see where this is leading, though. Can you keep going? Stone Castle wasn't epic enough. That's a first. But there's nothing down there but the old house. Certainly nothing worth filming. Surely not. What are those tracks? These are from a bulldozer. Can't believe it. You invite someone into your home and they do this to you. Just an obstacle to be cleared to them. What a mess this has been. Oh, left the letterbox. How kind of them. A letter? Do what you want with it. Yes, I mean that. It's got my name on it, but that's probably just some townie's idea of a funny prank. I have a reputation with them after all. MM. Melanie Murphy, it must be. And this is my mother's handwriting. She's long gone. I had no idea they treated people like that. I was only a kid when she left. Lots happened since then, you know. Sorry, cat's got my tongue. It's a lot to take in. Tell you what, how about I put the kettle on and give Melanie a call? See where we're at with each other. And you head off and get us some more footage? I've already had a crew out at Stone Castle to clear up what was left, so I'd suggest starting there. Plenty of prime deer species in the area. Why don't you make that your focus? Isn't this just paradise on Earth? I know I'm biased, but... Sometimes I ask myself if I could go back in time and stop them from releasing those animals, would I? Our native species would be thriving, but I'd have never known the thrill of chasing a deer through the bush. A head scratcher. Not the best, but we can use it for B-roll if nothing else. So listen, I had a brief chat with Melanie, and she was open to talking more. Been 25 years and it's going to take more than a single phone call, but it's a start. We had to cut it off though. She's got news. Big news. She saw some tracks not far from here when she came by to leave the letter a day or so ago, and she swears blind they were from a moose. Are you ready to head out again, Ewa? Forget the marketing video. This just became a documentary. Mark the location where Melanie saw the tracks on your hunter mate. 2 things. Keep that camera strapped to you and stay low. It wouldn't do to scare it now. We've come so close. Whoa, those are definitely moose prints and they're fresh. I'm pinching myself. Looks like a big one. A bull. One I saw was a cow. Must be his son. No records of any antlers in this area, but you don't exactly get many people out looking. Too remote. Keep one eye on the tracks, the other on your surroundings. I know, you know. Melanie used to drill that one into me. Can you imagine? They bundled 10 of them into crates and shipped them across the sea from Canada. Must have been terrifying. Most got shot, the others failed to adapt. This bloke we're stalking is probably all that's left of that line. He went towards the coast. Check that branch. Snapped and stripped. Deer don't browse like that, and certainly not that high up. Is that the end of them? Oh, I knew this was too good to be true. If he's lived this long in the reserve undetected, then he's not going to give himself up that easily. Right, Ewa, I think that's your work done here for now. I'll get Josh to set up more cameras around here so we can keep a close eye on things. In the meantime, I can't stop thinking about that letter. I might have been too harsh on people, or at least some people. So I wanted to ask you another favour. There's something in it for you this time, though. So here's the plan. I want to repay Melanie for telling me about the moose. I know I have every right to be angry with her for keeping that letter from me all this time. But frankly, it would do the both of us good to move on. And ironically enough, I think the best way for me to do that is to face up to my past. There's somewhere and something I've been avoiding for far too long. Those are hiking boots you're wearing, right? Good. We're going up into the mountains.
And by we, she means me.
25 years ago, I was working as an assistant to our then warden and going out on hunting trips at the weekend with Melanie. We were close at the time. Mum had just left, you know. It was good for me to have someone like that in my life. But I didn't really get on with some of her mates from the chopper company. Hard blokes they were. Hard working and hard drinking. I found them kind of intimidating, truth be told. And the whole commercial hunting business seemed like one big laugh to them. Out on fancy toys playing shoot 'em up. Even called themselves Alpine Ops, like a bloody action movie. Anyway, one day I was on duty and received a report of smoke sighted on the other side of the reserve. Melanie and her pilot mate, I won't name him, were heading out over that way anyway and suggested I join them. He had been out the night before. You could smell it on his breath. I wanted her to like me. They'd take the piss out of you if you complained too much. They'd call you a wuss or worse. So I got in. It was fine at first. The pilot was keeping it together and Melanie tried to reassure me that it was probably just some kid's campfire. But then it fogged up. He didn't know what to do, started swerving as if to get out of it. Next thing, we hit a bluff. I don't remember anything after that. Everyone survived. The pilot broke quite a few bones, but Melanie got off with just a few cuts and bruises, a lucky sucker. And the fire? False alarm. Anyway, the wreckage from that accident was never cleared, and I haven't been back since either. Too out of the way. But I'm certain there are still a few things worth salvaging up there. No love lost between me and some of those blokes and ladies. But I've got to admit that their efforts are the only reason why this place is still doing okay. It should be around here somewhere. The cockpit. If it had hit the ground at a slightly different angle, would have been goners. Take a look around, see if you can find anything. Bingo! That's exactly what I was hoping we'd run into. Melanie's old hunting rifle. I asked her if she wanted it back, but she said it'd make more sense for you to hold on to it. She's a bit too long in the tooth to get up to much hunting these days, the poor dear. I'll have it patched up and sent to your weapon locker. Consider it a bonus for a job well done. Take one more quick look around before you head down, can you? Cheers. There. That's mine. A gift from my mum, who got it as a gift from hers. Now I've been missing it all this time. Can you drop that necklace off by the nearest outpost and we'll wrap things up? Josh will head over for it later. I told him he'll never drive my car again if he so much as looks at it the wrong way. I think we're sitting pretty when it comes to hunting footage for the film now. I'll send what we have over to the marketing team and leave the rest in their hands. Still, it's a shame that the moose thing didn't pan out. I've had more than my fair share of false starts over the years, so I knew it was never going to be easy. They're tricky like that. Something for the book at least, eh? Penultimate chapter. He yet lives. I'll be sure to let you know how the video is received anyway. Thanks again. And great job, Ehor. You can just leave it on the desk inside there. hope Mum will be happy it's back in the family. Right, well, I know you came here on holiday and... Huh? Did you hear that? Could it really be? It's close. Sounds like just beyond the outpost. Turn that camera on again. We're not done here yet. Follow the call. It couldn't have gone far. These are brand new. I can almost feel how close you are. Look, mate, I'm a park ranger first and foremost, so I've got to remind you of something. In this jurisdiction, moose are considered deer, and deer are pests. Even if I've got a personal soft spot for the poor thing, I can't fault you for wanting that trophy. If you decide not to harvest it, make sure to at least take a good photograph. That action cam's not up to much there. I'll let you make the call. Don't dither though. We know this one's wily. What a set of antlers to boot. Of course. Old bloke wanted to give us some scenery to admire. Got him. And he's off. It's what I would have done. We're a bunch of softies, eh? A hit. After him. Still, now we've got proof. No one's ever going to call me a crackpot again. And I've got a story. Final chapter. Last of its kind. Or The Spirited Adventures of the Stoic Hunter and the Elusive Prey. Resplendent sword, eat your heart out. Speaking of which, this must be what spooked Barden, right? A creature from another world? Just like one of those, things from his movie? Quite the reaction, but then I guess he was still pretty munted. When I spoke to Melanie, she said that there's apparently been protests in town against the films that have been made here. Some of the Kiwi actors involved have cited poor working conditions, things like that. I have to say, I'm glad to see people rally around a common cause, even if I can't help but feel somewhat responsible for this whole debacle. But that's over and done with. The important thing is that we're changing tack, going all in on what this place needs. You know, they even invited me to an advanced screening of the film. I think I'll be not so politely declining. Well, that's that. As I was saying earlier, I know you originally came here to get away from it all, so why don't you take that time now and enjoy yourself? I'll be in touch again soon.
Yeah, so I totally forgot that it's either or when it comes to this mission. Either you smoke the moose and take it for a trophy, or you take a picture of it and never see it again. You can't take a picture and collect it as a trophy. It just doesn't work. As you saw, the tracks just flip and disappeared. Which is a shame that I forgot that, because this is the only chance that you have to get a mocha furred moose in the game. So bear that in mind if you're doing these missions for the first time. If you want, honestly, probably the ultimate rare fur type of an animal, it would be this mocha moose, because you'll never get another chance at it again. So there you have it. Well, you know what? That's not true. Well, it is true, but there's some other ultra rares that you can get on Cuatro Colinas, and I think you can get one on Medved Taiga too. But either way, let's continue.
Kia ora. It's been a while. You enjoying yourself out in the bush? There's nothing I love more than strapping a pack on and getting lost out there. So I'm glad you've had the chance to wind down and take it in after all that excitement earlier. Got a couple of updates for you. First and foremost, we released the promo film a few days ago. It's been wild. Phone's ringing off the hook kind of wild. In fact, we're almost fully booked for the autumn season already. I should be celebrating, but I've been sitting in my office, laser focused on how we're going to keep day tripper numbers down. We're not legally allowed to charge an entry fee, and quotas are hard to enforce, so maybe the solution is an outreach. Give those snot-nosed students a taste of the work we do here. Who knows? Might even make conservationists out of some of them. Anyway, the film's up, but we're still working on some final touches to the website. Oh, and the marketing team had a request. There's an old lighthouse by the coast that they'd like a few shots of. Can you head over there and I'll fill you in on everything else that's been happening? So, the bloke with the antlers, the firm we hired to do the promo film has gotten in touch with one of the big online networks, and they're up for the idea of turning your moose chase into a documentary. I'm still working on my book, but I'm thinking this could be a good accompaniment. You've seen the show, now get the details straight from their moose's mouth. Oh, of course they want to use your footage, and maybe even get an interview. You keen? Give it a think. Good opportunity to raise your profile, though I get the feeling that's not something that matters all that much to you. That's why I like you, Awaroa. What you see is what you get. In other news, Josh convinced me to let him go to that advanced screening of Resplendent Sword. He loved it, the brat, but then he must have read the books cover to cover about 10 times. He said, get this, he said that it had a strong message about environmentalism and cooperation. You think the same people who left all those messes behind came up with that? Hypocritical rubbish. It has given him a newfound appreciation for the reserve, though. He's even expressed an interest in hunting for the first time in his entire life. I think it's as much your influence as anything, but he's not going to admit to that anytime soon. There's a lot of meaning crammed into that word. We let the local iwi and hapu guide our conservation practices here at Te Awaroa. My kuia, bless her heart, was a mean tāneko weaver. I shouldn't pass it on, but these days there's a lot of local artisans combining those tried and true techniques with modern designs. The lighthouse is just up the path off the beach here. Speaking of Resplendent Sword, the protests have continued and the demolition of the commune made it into the local papers. I actually received a lot of support, even from people I wouldn't have expected it from. It's been humbling. I'm not going to go out of my way to drop in on the town, especially now I'm so busy with the book, but it is nice to feel like you're part of a community again. Moody? Let's get one a little closer up too. This beach is where I saw that moose cow about 35 years ago. She was staring out at the sea, looked heaps lonely. It probably won't surprise you to learn that I was kind of a weird kid, introverted and a bit in my own world. There was something about her that connected with me then, and still does. No one's manned this place for decades. Bolted shut. Perfect. I'll send these on right away. Right, let's grab a close-up from around here. It's been quite the adventure we've embarked on, eh? I can finally see a future for this place where we're not at the mercy of outside actors, and that's in no small part thanks to you. To preserve Te Awaroa's heritage and safeguard our unique biodiversity. Requires constant vigilance, but I think I'm up for the challenge. Wouldn't you agree, Eho?
And such is the conclusion of the Te Awaroa Hunting Reserve. So, as per usual, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to unlock the whole map, and then in the last part of this series, I'm going to show you the experience that we have, the cash that we have, any diamonds or unique fur varieties that I got along the way, along with the skills, perks, and probably where we're at with the dog as well. So stay tuned for that one. That will be coming up next. And if you liked this video, hit that like button. If I've earned it, hit that subscribe button. And as always, be safe, be cool, and have fun. We'll catch you in the next one.